ask us?
Yes, anybody has any questions?
Hold on. Here we go. Are you ready, live?
No.
Right. There you go.
Jumping that side up.
There you go. You're live now.
Yeah. Just getting
I'll
here.
just shut this off so I don't get in.
Just wait for a few people come on.
Brian, I couldn't put the flight mode on, so I might get, if any phone calls come in, I'll have to turn them off.
Okay, I think there's 9 on. We just watch for a few more, mate. 2 seconds. Right, I'm getting there. You're looking healthy.
Thank you, mate. I've stopped drinking, so my skin's got better since New Year's Day. But thank you, mate. Yeah.
And you get up.
I've lost a stone.
And you get up and you get out of bed and you feel fitter. And every day you get up, you get fitter and fitter, and you start getting up at the same time every day.
Yeah.
And it's good. Right, guys, welcome to the show. We've got Matt Legg on again, professional boxer for AJ Tyson Fury, sparred with. Amazing bloke. Going to tell us stories he hasn't told anyone else before. Matt, welcome back to the show. Popular demand, everyone want you on, so we had no choice. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back, mate. I enjoyed it last time. So yeah, it's good to be back. I've got a few more stories that I didn't say last time, and a few other things that have been happening lately that I can talk about.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Where are we at? What were we talking about then?
Just saying, New Year's resolution was a big thing for me. So New Year's Eve, I said from New Year, no more alcohol, get fighting fit again, no more, because I drank a bottle of whiskey on New Year's Eve. I'm a bit of a binge drinker. I'm sort of all or nothing. I'll either go for months and months healthy, or I can go the other way. Whatever I do it full on. So I don't do things by halves. And I drank a bottle of whiskey New Year's Eve, enjoyed myself. And I said New Year's Day, start getting fit, get the weight off, eat healthy, walk, boxing. I'm down to 20 stone. I was 21 stone. I want to get to about 18 stone, I think. I've been in talks with Dean Lynch Ward about maybe having a bare-knuckle fight on one of the shows, not the next show, but maybe later on, or even a boxing match, charity boxing match at some point. But I need to get down to about 18 stone, really, to do that. But yeah, that's one of my goals.
Your best fight weight, about 18 stone?
My best fighting weight was probably 16 and a half, 17. But now I think I'll be better about 17 and a half. I'm 45 now, so I'm a bit heavier. But I can still get fit. I'm 20 stone now, and I've still got a bit of speed left there. So I think about 17 and a half, 18 stone would be nice.
Because on heavyweights, the last thing that goes, you're punching it. You've still got that. Have you seen fighters? George Foreman was 45, I think, when he won the title.
That's it.
Phenomenal.
He was exactly the same age as me when he won. I like watching him in his later years. I enjoyed watching the comeback with George Foreman when he was knocking everyone out. He just walked around knocking everyone out, didn't he?
Did you know that he made more money off the sandwich, the grill, George Foreman grill, than he made than anything? I think 300 million or something he made off that. We made a Matt Legg grill.
He made 300 mil. Yeah, that's a lot. Mike Tyson and Holyfield made 300 mil each, and they both spent all of it as well.
I think he made 450 mil was Evander Holyfield.
And I think he spent it.
He's got no left. Yeah, they've got nothing left.
I can't imagine spending that much money.
I was making massive amounts of money, nowhere near as much as them. I was making 20 and 30 grand a week when I was on the raves in the late 80s and early 90s. And when you're from counter stage, you feel sorry for I'll pay him. And you just give it away to friends and family. And then the next week you've got that left, but you think it's going to last forever. But when you're in that game taxing and taking money off people, make massive amounts of money, you're used to just having pennies. Yeah. Everyone have a good time with you. You go out and you'll take 20 people, drink, and you'll pay for everyone. The same people turn the back on you when you've got nothing.
I used to do the same thing, Brian. When I was up to no good and bits and bobs like that, I would buy people bits and bobs throughout the night and dish out stuff. And when I was making big money doing this, when it comes quick and easy, you spend it quick and easy, and it's easy come, easy go. When you earn it properly through hard work, you appreciate it more. I appreciate money now. I've turned my back on all the crime and bits and bobs that I was doing. I appreciate a hard-earned dollar, nowadays. But when I was earning big money, I didn't appreciate it or respect money. Just blew it all. I used to get phone calls.
If you're getting an item off someone, you're selling it and you make like $5 grand, and it's like, like you said, you have work. But if you're digging holes and you're painting the work, you think, I've deserved the money today. You might make 200. Lad said to me, he makes £300 a week, £400 a week now, and he appreciates that more than when he was making 2 and 3 and 4 grand a week because he's working. There's no police at the door. There's no get locked up, and he's safe, family's safe, and you go home and you're working hard, like you said.
You haven't got to look over your shoulder and worry about stuff. And because I used to get a lot of phone calls for debt collecting jobs, people that have been ripped off or people that have been robbed, and I'd get phone calls almost on a weekly basis, and I'd always go and collect the money in and try and do it amicably. Normally, I'd just turn up and I'd know the people, and I'd get the money. I've done a debt job for Charlie Bronson once. I didn't expect to get paid. In fact, it was for his family. Got the money in, and I gave him the money just as a favour, and they gave me a nice drink out of it to say thanks. And Charlie sent me a nice letter.
I think you did one for Frank Bruno as well, didn't you?
Frank as well. Frank asked me for a bit of help. Yeah, a couple of times we've done that. Frank, he had some trouble. He had some trouble a few years back, and then he had another bit of trouble.
Usually when you go, when you're outside, I've got that reputation. I'd knock on the door and go, I'd say, look, we don't need trouble. We're not here to cause trouble. I used to tape record them so they couldn't go to the police because you get done for called demand of money with medicine. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Smith. You owe him £20,000. Can you make amends of paying it? I used to make payment schemes so they pay something every month. Yeah. So got money for the that. So I said, you don't want a load of lads coming around and smashing your windows and beating you up. I'm talking amicably, and they'll say, come in. And then what I used to say to them, if you've got any debts to collect, and you 9 times out of 10 they do.
That's what exactly, yeah. You do it the same way as me. I'd rather go in there and just no fuss. They give them a payment plan. Don't go in and say you've got to pay it all now, because if they can't pay it, then they get scared. They'll either run to police or do something else. So just give them a viable option and then get the money. But I wouldn't do it now. Those days are gone now. The police got called a few times towards the end, and I thought it's getting too much hassle now to do.
I actually got it there. Window firm. My mate Jeff, who has a window firm in Stockton, and knocked on the door, and it was the police. They owed £5,000 for the conservatory they've got, 15 grand. Yeah. They were coming in. What they usually do is say, oh, it's not working properly, it's leaking. I said, well, I'll just take it down, now. Oh, no, do you know where the police? I went, well, you should know better, shouldn't you? Then you give me the money cash, £5,000. Ingleby Barbican was where I live. Yeah. But I've got places, Matt, and they say to me, it's not the money, Brian, it's the principle. So I used to say to them, well, you keep the principle and I'll keep the money.
Yeah. I've had the police call to me once when 3 lads kicked someone's door off and with machetes, went in the house and robbed something. So I caught up with these lads and gave them an option to pay the money back. I've got the police. They called the police on me, and they've kicked someone's door off with machetes. I've caught them, and they called the police on me. But I've had talking about debt collecting. Norman used to get phone calls from people to tell can you stop Matt? Can you stop Matt from coming after us? And he would say, well, why is he after you for? And they were like, well, we owe some money. And he's doing a debt collecting job. And Norman would say, if you owe the money, you better pay him.
We used to say that, you remember the old thing, good cop, bad cop, mainly Duffy. So when he was known everywhere, really, but I'd come along going, God, he's a psychopath. You don't want to piss the bottle down cop. And I can't stop him. You're going to have to pay it. And he'd be in the now we're going, you better get that money paid, Joe, and just shouting and bawling. But it's all a blag. And we get paid, you know.
Yeah. It's easy money, but you can't
go to somewhere where somebody's borrowed something off someone, not paid them. So all you're doing is you police, you're marshal in the area. And police in the area. The police don't seem to like that. They don't like you going in, doing a better job than them.
That's what I always look to as I'm helping someone. I'm helping someone get their money back. So to me, I was doing everything I ever did. I tried to justify it, that it was the right way to do it, because I've tried to live by the code that my grandparents and my parents taught me, which is treat everyone how you'd like to be treated yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why when I watch a lot of these people on YouTube and whatever having a go at people, there's grown men calling women names, as you know, and calling homophobic comments to people. I just think they wouldn't like it if it was done to their mum or sister or wife. Yeah. So why are they doing it? Treat people how you want to be treated. I've tried, not always worked, but I try to live my life with that code.
That's what it's called. It's old school manners, we call it.
Yeah.
The last, myself and you and Lee Wortley and Norman Buckland, and then we're the old school. So the new one just come around, smash your face in with a machete, chop you up, and then money off you. They don't give you. I've been to somewhere that have been big guys, have been like 2 or 3, and I went, well, if you want, we'll go on the field, we'll sort it out now. If you want to do it that way, go that way, and they've never done it. No,
Very few people. I very rarely have a one-on-one fight. Normally, most of the fights I've had on the thing were with a few more people. Like it was never one-on-one. There's always a few more people, like a little gang or something.
Yeah.
But you don't get many people that'll have a one-on-one fight anymore.
No. Yeah, it's just gone. Look, we used to I used to work on the door, and I was 20. I went 1985. I worked in Leo's. I was 20-year-old, and you'd have. I didn't know how to fight properly. You know, I used to do a little bit, but I didn't know how to put somebody out. So I started learning all these kung fu moves, wrestling. There was a wrestler there, and he taught me the moves. I used to put the arms on the back and pick them up like that, and carry them downstairs. But it was. I couldn't do it now. The collapse, the fitness I was compared to what I am now, and you'd carry them up like 15 so like walk all the way down 20 steps or something, and put them on, put them out. Them days are over. And then what they do, they'd say, right, I'm going to get my brother. So then you'd have to fight this lad the next day on a field.
Yeah.
Like there used to be a pub called the Oasis. They'd come out, all the people, and watch it. It didn't last long. I'd fucking hit them once or twice, and it was over. But that was great. And if you didn't, and in them days, you had to be able to fight, Matt, to work the door. As you know,
that's it.
Now, just have to have a badge.
And a lot of the time, the doorman will get in trouble for hitting someone. Now you can't hit people now and stuff or fight because you get in trouble. And
you have to video them fighting, then give the video to the police. I thought, no, that's not for me.
No, it's all changed.
Yeah,
I never really did a lot of door work, but obviously, like Norman was the main man for doing all the door work, and I've just finished Norman's. But I finished your book as well, actually. Norman's and. Just finished that.
Yeah,
I've just finished that as well.
Yeah,
both really good. And what I've been doing, I watched a lot. Norman's been on quite a few videos lately. He's been on yours. He's been on a few other people's, and I always watch him and read. I read a lot of the comments, and a lot of people I seem to they're trying to judge Norman on him now. They're saying, well, he wouldn't have lasted with so and so. But I think, well, this is Norman. He's 60 now. Don't judge him from his interviews now. Back in the day, Norman was up there with the best of them. He doesn't really tell you a lot of his stories about his street fights, Norman, does he? When he does the interviews. But I know people that have attacked him like little gangs, and he's gone through 4, 5, 6 on his own. These are friends of mine. He's gone through them with weapons, and I remember there was one time four blokes attacked Norman. They had hockey sticks, and they went to hit him with a hockey stick, and he put his arm up, thinking that he was going to break the hockey stick on his arm, but they broke his arm. He carried on fighting the 4 blokes, and he beat all 4 with a broken arm. That's the difference with. I mean, all these fighters that everyone talks about, all the governors and stuff like that. You've got Lenny, Roy, Norman, and all the other ones. You've got Sven, but they're all different in their own way. There's only one Norman. There's only one Lenny. There's only one like Cliff Fields. Cliff Fields, who I met Cliff a couple of times. He beat Lenny in a couple of fights. But they're all different in their own way.
Yeah.
And Norman had an ability to take a major amount of punishment and then come back and keep on fighting till he's won. He would never give in. No matter what his injuries, he would just keep on fighting. That's what he was known for.
You'd have to kill him to stop him.
You would have to, he would never give in. And he'd never ever stop in a fight, even if he's normally outnumbered. Yeah. He's had everything happen to him. I know 2 carloads of people once that CS gassed him. Friends of mine, they're friends of mine now. And they CS gassed him, and he went through them lot, 2 carloads.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's but he doesn't talk about his street fights a lot when he does the interviews. But I know a lot of them. I know a lot of people that have took him on and come unstuck. In his prime, back in the day, he would be up there with the best of them.
Yeah. Same
as everyone says about you. In your day, I think you're the similar age to Norman. You're up there with the best of them in Britain.
Yeah.
And and what the difference is there's no knives used. There's no. It's a different way. I'm not saying fighting's good, but I'd rather see fighting how you would do it or I would do it than what they're doing now.
You're having a fight with your hands, the chance of killing someone is very slim. But when you stab someone, the chance of killing them is probably 50-50. For you, you're going to kill someone. If you hit somebody off the end of the machete, they're dead. Simple as that. Yeah. But we never had that type of stuff, and nobody used to. When you search people, you didn't have to search people on the door because you knew they didn't have. There was hardly any about. There might have been a bit of cannabis or something. When I was a kid, we grew up and we watched like Rocky. Want to be like him. My mum made the gloves and the hat for us. And we running in the snow. Want to be Rocky in 15-year-olds. And then we'd watch something like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then the football would come on. You want to play football. Then the tennis would come on. You'd be a tennis player. But you were like that, fantasized as a little kid.
Yeah,
weren't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I used to be like. Watching, I'd always watch the films and then want to be like them. Yeah, come out Karate Kid and you're doing all karate moves. And
Karate Kid, because that reminded me of you getting bullied. And then I
yeah,
started fighting and then I started beating everyone. I thought, this is better than getting beat up. But I
yeah,
remember my first ever, I told this to Lee Watt the other day. He said, what was the first time you got paid? So I don't know if I told him the other week on the EF. I was talking about it and I said, what happened is, there was a lad called Tommy Gibbons. He used to play a thing called gate. You'd have your gate and you'd play football where you kick the ball in the gate. We lived in council houses in the Brush, Westview Road, 224 we lived there, over an arty post. So we play. He had a brother, but he was 6 foot odd, about 6'2" or something. I was about 5'7" or something. I was only about 11-year-old, I think. And he was about 16. And anyway, kept bullying him. One day I grabbed him, threw him on the floor, and I was beating him. Anyway, his mum shouted, behave. So I stopped and we went in the house. So the next day I had this arranged fight with him. So my mum gave me 50 pence to go and fight him. 50 pence in them days. It was 3 pence for the man's bar. It was 2 pence to get in the swimming bath, and it was 20 pence to get in the cinema. So I went out to fight with him and I got the shit kicked out of me. I got battered. He was like 16-year-old. I was only 11, you see. And he was massive to me. He was 8 inches tall or something. But I still went, but I put a few marks on him. I cut his nose and I a bit of a scratch on his face. Must have scratched him like a girl or something. Next day, he came over and shook me hand. Never had a fight after that. So my mum was. She said, if my mum could fight, out of every fight I've ever known, my mum's the hardest person I've ever met.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tough to tell the people until you're in that. And she said, put a mark on them. My granddad used to say, put a mark on them. They'll think twice about coming back, and that's even if you don't win, they'll think twice about having a go because you're having to go back up, stand there and let them hit you. They'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
I most of the people I've had street fights with, I actually get on with now. I talk to almost all of them, and I get on with them. I was talking the other day to my son because he knows a couple of. There was 4 lads when I was about 20. These 4 lads come in the nightclub and they hit a bloke with a duster. Accidentally hit a girl with a knuckle duster as well. So I went looking for them downstairs, and they come up to me and I didn't see them coming, but they hit me straight on the forehead with a knuckle duster. I didn't even budge. I just looked at the bloke and knocked him out, and whatever I did, they dragged him in a car. But I talk to all of them now. Almost every fight I've had, I get on with the people and we talk now and shook hands after. But
we used to work on the door in a place called Red Car, and it's a race course there. It's the only mile race course I think in the country. I used to work on there, but it was a nightmare because say the people were from York or something, be a 52-seater bus with 52 lads pissed out their heads coming in. There would only be 2 doormen on. And they came one night and there was a big lad with him. He went, if you can punch me in the stomach. So he was tense. He was like this, tensing over like that, and stomach. So the lads were having to punch him in the stomach. You have a go and he punch him in the stomach. And if you can hurt me, I'll pay double. It was only £1 to get in. There was about 15, 20 of them there out of the 52. People would come anyway. He was keep doing all this stuff. So he said to me, you have a go, big lad. But no, you're all right, mate. So he bent over like that, tensed his stomach. I went bang, I hit him right on the chin, knocked him clean out.
Did you?
Fucking head, didn't they? You're not with him, they're all laughing their heads off. And then taking hands with them and they're laughing because you have good fun. Sometimes with them you can make you have a good laugh, can't you?
That was Norman's party trick. Was that he would let anyone hit him in the stomach. So I used to punch him in the stomach. Even I've hit him with bare knuckles in the stomach, and he can just take it. He just tenses it, and you can't hurt him in the stomach. He's hard to hurt anywhere, but his stomach especially.
Take his food off him, that'll hurt him.
But I'm looking forward to. We'll all catch up soon, mate, at the boxing do. You'll get to meet Norman and Joe Egan will be down in the one in Bedford, Pete Chandler's show. We'll all be down there.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
So you get to meet them all.
Funny how all these good guys like yourself, me, you've got to be best of friends, and it's great because we're on the same page. You know what we've gone through to go and fight someone. In the ring, it's hard, but you know it's harder in the street because you're getting stabbed in the back, you're getting hit with bars, you're getting people trying to shoot you. It's mad in the street.
But you've still done the same thing. You thought you would fight the best on the street, and it's a scary thing to have to fight all these blokes on the street. And I said the same thing from when I was growing up. I'd always fight the best rather than, you don't want to fight someone weaker than you. You want to fight someone who's strong, because there's no glory in fighting someone weaker. And same, I did it in boxing. I'd always want to fight the best fighters out there, or the toughest. Because then whether you win or lose, you've got in there and had a go.
With the best.
You know what I mean? And you've done the same thing on the street, and it's a dangerous thing to do, especially on the street.
Yeah, when I used to fight, most of the top fighters I fought have never been beat. The ones I've about 50 or 60 of them I fought, who've never been beat to this day, only off me. And I was, like Carol said the other day, I was the only one Lee come unstuck with Lee Duffy. So these like fighters, top boxers, as you know, karate champions, jiu-jitsu, fought them all. But when you're that weight, as you know, Matt, when you're 24 stone, you can do a bit of boxing. Not like your skill, nowhere near as good as you. But I could still fight in the street. Yeah. Thing in the street, your strength comes into it, and your bottle comes in as well. When you show no feet.
bottle. Without the heart, without the right mindset, you won't be able to do it at all. You've got to go into a fight with the right mindset, because that's win or lose. Is how your mind is trained.
But when you're going to fight who's never been beat, and you go into a city like Newcastle to fight the best fighter there, Sunderland, and a city with millions of people, you're going to fight the best fighter there, Charlie, if you're in a little village. Because there's going to be people there. So the big difference when you go out of a little town, maybe 100,000 people, when you go into a city where there's over 1 million people and you're fighting the elites, like you said, it's a bit like Manchester United at the best. They're not going to come and play someone like Hartlepool because they know they're going to destroy them when they were, or Barcelona. They would only play the elite. And when you beat the best, you don't have to fight. If you're going to fight the best fighter in that town, you're the best fighter. Because you beat the best.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's nice to get respect off of other top fighters.
You'll get this as well, that when you have the fight with these fighters, loads of them have beat, and they've shook hands with me later on.
Yeah.
Well, if I fight with me and I beat them again, they've shook hands. And a lot of them people I fought have jumped in when I've been fighting with someone and helped me.
Yeah.
They've got respect because you beat them, and they think, well, and I've gone up and said, look, are we all right now? And you've just been the best of friends.
Yeah, that's it. Fighters respect each other, and especially unbeaten ones. When you beat someone, I've fought a few unbeaten fighters in the boxing as well, and you have respect after. That's it. Shake hands and help each other out in the future. But yeah, exactly. I'll tell you someone that I wanted to mention, Dave Legino. I don't know if you knew Dave Legino. He's passed away now. He was a good friend of mine. He passed away in Death Valley in America, in the desert. But he was a brilliant cage fighter. He was a boxer. He only took up cage fighting at the age of, I think, 44. And he beat two of the world's best cage fighters, Chemo and Dan Severn, at the age of 44. So he became well known in the cage fighting. He was friends with Dave Courtney from 30 years ago. He used to do doors, debt collecting. He's in the film Snatch. He's in Harry Potter. He plays Fenrir. He plays the werewolf. I think it's Fenrir Greyback. But he would have been up there with the best of them as well on the street and in the ring, in the cage. And he was a lovely, lovely bloke. He used to get mistaken for my big brother because he looked like an older version of me. Yeah. People used to say that you just saw your big brother out there. And I said, I ain't got a big brother. And I just think that's got to be Dave Legino.
Yeah, I'm your big brother.
yeah, you're my big brother now. Yeah, you are. Yeah. But Dave, I trained with Dave just before the Joshua fight. Me and Dave did a bit of sparring, and I kept going to see him. And the one thing he told me not to do in the AJ fight, I did, which is he said, don't bend forward in front of him. And I did that, and AJ uppercutted me. Yeah. So after the fight, I couldn't bring myself to ring Dave, because I knew I'd done what he told me not to do. And he died 3 months later, so I never got to talk to him. I was gutted.
Yeah.
But he was a legend, Dave Legino. Yeah, if you ever see him, you'll see him in Snatch, and you'll know his face when you see it.
Yeah. So what was the hardest fight you had? Was it in amateurs or was it in professional?
The hardest fight, I'll tell you about the hardest street fight I had as well, but the hardest fight in boxing, amateur, was Ray McCallum in the ABA. Ray McCallum and Paul Joyce, big Paul Joyce, I told you about last time. Yeah. He was from the Joyce family. He was unbeaten bare-knuckle fighter. He was an unbeaten boxer. Yeah. And he was 6'5", 25 stone, but he was very fast, game as anything, because he was a bare-knuckle fighter. Yeah. He was, and I beat him in Oxford, in his hometown. I had a day's work. I worked on the building site for a day, drove down to Oxford and fought Paul. And it's on YouTube. You can see it on YouTube. But it was like he got the better of me for the first round and a half, and I just kept on going for him. I wouldn't give up, and I won on points. But I thought it was going to be a draw, to be honest. So when I got my hand lifted, I was over the moon. And me and Paul talk now. Me and Paul are friends now. he referees all the travellers bare knuckle fights, all the gypsy bare knuckle fights. He's the fair play man on most of them. You'll see him.
You need somebody done yet to be with the travellers.
Yeah, you've got to be respected to be one of the fair play men. But he was one of the toughest amateur fights. Ray McCallum from London. He was a London champion, and I had proper war with him on the Saturday night, and I beat him to get to the semi-final. And I fought another geezer the following day and knocked him out and got to the final. But Matthew Granger was tough. The bloke who beat me in the amateurs, he was tough. But as a pro,
how many amateur fights did you have?
I only had 15, but I only got beat by one person. So I had 15 amateurs. Got beat by Matthew Granger, who was the #1 in Britain. And he beat David Price. You know, big David Price.
From
he beat him, yes, at Liverpool. He beat him by 10 points, I think, and he beat me by 1 point. So that was a difference. As a pro, who was the toughest pro fight? Can't really remember. Joshua. Joshua was the most painful because he broke my eye socket, and he was just.
And how? You were telling us before, for people watching now who never heard, you actually got a challenge of Tyson Fury, which I would have jumped on the train the other way, mate. And he phoned you up to come out, and you've said, he says, "Oh, you pussy heavyweights, they're dead. Come out there." You phoned him. I'll spar with you. Did 4 rounds with him.
Yeah, what had happened? I hadn't been training for a couple of years. I'd been out. I'd been doing nothing, just partying and whatever for 2 years. I hadn't done any boxing. And someone rang me up and said, Tyson Fury's on Facebook, issuing a challenge to all the heavyweights. So I looked on his Facebook, and he put, "All you British heavyweights, you're all pussies." And he said, "None of you will spar me, let alone fight me." Right? So I said to him, I'll come up and spar you. Like, how much are you paying? And he said, 10 grand if you can knock me out. So, but he was paying good money for 4 rounds. He was paying some good cash. It was like a week's wages for someone or more. So I said, I'll come up tomorrow. And I got on the train the next morning just by myself. Not fit. I wasn't fit at all. Got on the train, and him and his brother Shane picked me up from Manchester train station, drove me to the Peter Fury's caravan site, just us three. Went on the caravan site, and there's a gym in the middle of the caravan site, and I started warming up, and he come over to me and he went, he goes, "You remind me of Mike Tyson," because my style was like that. As I'm warming up, he's like, "You remind me of Mike Tyson." And Shane got in and did the first round. I got in, did the second. Shane did the third. So we did like that. So he did 8, and I landed 1 punch in the whole time. I landed 1 left hook right on his jaw.
Is he that quick and elusive?
He was that good, yeah. He's just huge, tall, long. But you can't. It's hard to explain.
It's a boxer's dream if you're him, but a boxer's nightmare if you're not him. Because his reach, his power, his foot, phenomenal. He's nasty or something, 6'9", I think.
Yeah.
And he's got a reach like an albatross. So
you know, when he fought Klitschko, people kept saying, "Why didn't Klitschko do anything?" But I know why. He couldn't do anything. You can't throw punches at something that's not in front of you.
No.
So Klitschko couldn't do anything. That is why. But it's not that Klitschko didn't try. He couldn't do it.
He was outstanding boxer, Klitschko. What people don't realize. Where 10 years they're up there, and they fought all the top fighters. You know, they did really well, didn't they? Especially from like Russia, because you never hear of people that are from there.
No.
They were really good. But who's your favorite?
Tyson beat him. Tyson was the first one to beat him in that period, that 10-year period.
Who was your favorite fighter of all time?
Mike Tyson. And then Mike Tyson, because I sort of I took on his sort of style, but it was Mike Tyson, Holyfield. I used to love Holyfield for his heart, his chin, his boxing ability. Who else did I used to watch? I used to always heavyweights. It would be, I like Riddick Bowe, Tommy Morrison.
I love Tommy. Probably had the best. Him and George. The best left hook knockout.
Jerry Cooney. Jerry Cooney had a good left hook, but Tommy Morrison left hook was amazing.
Marine. Who was the Marine? Who fought?
The Marine that beat him.
Yeah, the one the left hook. I can't remember his name now. He had a brilliant. Was it Gene Tunney?
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. He had a brilliant left hook. But George Foreman's left hook. George Foreman for me was first to there was another black guy who was huge years before us, but there was another guy. And the other one was George Foreman's the first to the big 18 inch arms, big guns. And when he
Massive.
fought Muhammad Ali, I love Muhammad Ali, but he knew he couldn't go toe to toe with him. So
Yeah.
that's why he rope a dope and tired him out. I think that's why
Yeah.
he got the brain damage, Muhammad Ali, and got the Parkinson through that fight.
Yeah, because he let Foreman hit him.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only time I think George Foreman ever got stopped by Muhammad Ali in about 70 or 80 fights. George Foreman had a great chin.
What he done, he had the peekaboo style to come in like that with his hands up like that.
Cross arm, yeah. Cross arm,
and you couldn't get through to him. And if you caught it with a left hook, you were gone. Really good.
Yeah. And his uppercut, he lifted Joe Frazier off the floor with his uppercuts.
Yeah, he did. But nobody thought he was going to win that fight. They thought it was going to be Muhammad Ali.
And he annihilated him.
It's like the lad who Bruno beat, the black lad who he beat. You remember Frank Bruno won the world title?
Oliver McCall.
Oliver McCall, and he beat Lennox Lewis. And he probably had good fights with Lennox Lewis and lose 99. But that night, just caught him. You can catch him with a lucky punch. Not being disrespectful, he's caught with a good punch. Put Lennox down, but it was that punch. And in heavyweights, one punch just changes the game, doesn't it? Lennox
came back and beat him, didn't he, in the rematch? And he couldn't knock him out, but he had a breakdown in the ring because he was smoking a lot of rocks and stuff.
Well, the night before, 2 weeks before, he was arrested by 10 police officers. Had to hold him down, and he had mental health because the referee was going, "Do you want to go?" And he started crying. Didn't he? Had a break.
Yeah,
it's sad to see that. And then, do you think in boxing you get a lot of people like in football? The celebrities, you've been in front of the crowd, you've been in the biggest crowd like Wembley and all that. When you get away from that, is it hard to step back and say, I can't do it no more now, even though you can still fight? But do you know when you have to retire, it's hard for them. And then that's when they start the drugs and the alcohol and the things like that. Yeah, I think it's their match, so they can go like pay insurance or something, so people can look after them after they become professional. Maybe get them to be a coach and help them with their mental health.
Yeah, because a lot of boxers do go into depression and stuff after. I think Ricky Hatton's had it, Frank Bruno's had it, loads of them in America have had it, and it's because you miss that. It's all the training, all the fitness, you've got a goal. You've got to have a goal in your life, and when you've got a fight coming up, there's no better goal than having a fight because it focuses your mind totally. Yeah. Every day is a regime of eating well, training, and focusing on that fight. So when that's gone, you've got to replace all that with something else. So yeah, it must be hard. I didn't find it too difficult, to be honest, because my career wasn't as it wasn't like a world champion's career. I had a few fights, and I wasn't at that top level by any means. I was just at a low sort of British, not even British level, in the middle of that level, southern area. What's it called? English title level. Although I did in sparring. I had some good spars with European champions, world title. World heavyweight champion, people who fought for the title, and I got the better of a couple of people, but I didn't ever do it in a ring. I don't think I could have. I was never a 12-round. I could do 6 rounds, 8 rounds, but I would never have been it would have took me a few more years to get to be a 12-round fighter.
Can I explain that to people? But I understand it, but you can get people going. You start off, you do maybe 3-2s, or whatever you do. Start off, you build up. So to get from 6 rounds to 12, what's the difference in that?
So what happened when I turned pro? I turned pro with Frank Maloney at the time, who's now Kelly. And what you do, you start off on 4 rounds. So your money, I think I was getting sort of $5,000 for 4 rounds. And when you go to 6 rounds, your money goes up. And then I was on a good deal because Frank didn't take any money off me at all. And he said, when you get to $10,000 a fight, then I'll take money off you. So I was on a good deal with Frank Maloney and Frank Warren. So you do 4 rounds, then you build up to 6 rounds, then you get to your 8s. When you get to your 10 rounds, you're talking English titles, Southern area titles. And then when you get to your 12 rounds, then you're ready for titles, which will be, first of all, you go for your British, and then you'll be moving on to your European. But you build up, and your money gets more and more with each amount of rounds you do. But yeah, 4 rounds, you can get tired in 4 rounds, even if you've trained. But your fitness gets better as the years go on. You adapt to that fitness. It takes a long time. You don't just get it overnight.
Yeah.
I was blowing. Even after all my years of training, 6 rounds, I'd start blowing.
Right. AJ seems to do that in 6 rounds, doesn't he? Don't just expect
to. Yeah. Although saying that, yeah, but AJ's come back and knocked people out in round 11, I think, as well. So Mike Tyson never knocked anyone out after round 6. So his power diminished the further it went. Whereas AJ has knocked people out in 11 and stuff, I think. So Mike Tyson, if he went past round 6, he'd either win on points or he would lose.
Yeah.
But some people like Deontay Wilder and AJ, they carry their power into the later rounds.
Yeah, because they've got that weight as well. I'm a lot bigger. Tyson's only 14, I think, 15, what was it, 14, 10?
He was 15 stone at the start. He went out. I watched him fight in Denmark live, and he was 17 stone. He did 6 rounds, and I watched him from almost ringside, which was a highlight of my boxing to watch Mike Tyson fight.
I seen him fight Julian Francis.
Yeah.
In Manchester, and I think it was like the 5th or 6th round. He stopped him. No,
it was the second. I think it was the second.
Second round. I thought it was the 6th round. We watched him there, and actually he came that night. He was dressed in white. Was Marvin Hagler. I never met him on the seat, but you could see him from them. Everyone stood up clapping for him. He was a legend when he ever fighting Marvin Hagler.
Yeah.
Well, they were probably middleweights of all time, the 4 kings they call them. But Tommy Hearns, but Tommy Hearns was a bit chin suspect. Sugar Ray Leonard for me was the best.
Yeah.
Duran was brilliant, but Leonard just had that skill of coming. He reminds me of Floyd Mayweather coming in. You can't hit him. He's so fast. He's from in and out and phenomenal. I think he's going to be there at the fight where you're at. And Floyd Mayweather Senior is going to be.
Senior's going to be in Bedford. Yeah, he's doing the corner. Johnny Nelson's doing another corner. I'm doing one, and Joe Egan's doing the other. But I've sat on Marvin Hagler's table thanks to Spencer Brown and Jimmy Andrews. They got me on the top table about 15 years ago with Marvin Hagler. So we sat with him on the stage, which was that was another highlight to sit with Hagler. I've sat with Tyson as well on the stage with Mike Tyson. That was just a dream come true. But thanks to Lee Nightingale for that as well.
Yeah, one of my highlights is when I got to meet Frank Rio.
Yeah.
He's absolutely brilliant. I love him to bits. And people go, "Oh, he was this." And no, wait a minute. He was a world champion. He was the world champion of the world.
I said to Frank once, I've looked at his record. He's fought about 8 or 9 people that Mike Tyson fought, and Frank knocked them out quicker. He knocked a lot of these people out quicker than Mike Tyson did.
Yeah.
It's on his record. He fought at least 8 or 9. And I said, you knocked him out quicker than Mike. So Frank Bruno was one of the hardest punchers this country's ever produced.
Yeah.
He was,
unbelievable.
He's brilliant. I love Frank,
He fought
Tyson. You will get to meet him, though. Yeah, you'll get to see him.
To go in the ring with Mike Tyson once, but then twice. Getting beat as well. The first one, then going back again for the second one. So it's hard to fight somebody like that stature in your head. It's hard to prepare for a fight because you fight the best ever, one of the best ever been, maybe the best ever been. You're fighting somebody, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to fight him, and you just argue with yourself. And some days you think you win, and some days you think you're going to lose. But all fighters go through that. But once you've been beaten off someone like that, and then you've got to go back for a second fight, that must be even harder to do.
Yeah, because you know what's coming. You know what's coming.
So Frank's got to have a line on. He's just.
Yeah, you know what's coming. Especially
you're boxing when you're on the pads, and you showed me, and he's laughing. He's got he's so loving, like a big teddy bear. I think he is. And
I'll go down to see him with Manny Clark. Yeah, and we'll arrange it one day for you to come down.
I'd love to see him.
But yeah, it was brilliant. You've got a few boxing shows coming up. You've got the 3D Fight Club next month. And I'm coming. I think I'm on your table for that. I spoke to Dean Lynch Ward, so I'll be there.
All the old lines are together.
yeah. I think Joe Egan's going as well. You said, is he?
He goes with us as well. So 3 old lions.
Yeah.
When they go. You better not pinch Joe's food and go off.
No. Yeah.
What you doing now then, Matt? You're just training now. You were saying to me the other week, maybe you're going to have a bare-knuckle fight. You're going to go another fight. You're going to watch to see what happens at the fight. That 3D get to take in the crowd. Yeah,
take it in, have a look, and then what I want to do as well is once I start sparring, is see how my body holds up. Yeah, because I'm 45 now. I just want to see if I've still got the my back holds up, my knees, and all this because I'm heavier. But I just want to see the space. If the sparring goes well, I'll consider doing a bare knuckle or a boxing match because the bare knuckle doesn't worry me either. Because like same with you, I've had a lot of street fights. And I was going to tell you the hardest street fight I had. I was going to mention this along with the boxing, but I had a fight in Iron Napa once with 5 doormen. I was with the mother of my children when we first met. I think I was about early 20s. We went to Sky Napa, and on the very last night, we had a flight home at about 7 in the morning. This is 3 in the morning. We've got to fly home in 4 hours. The doorman pushed me. We couldn't get into the nightclub, and the doorman pushed me. So I just offered out these doormen. There's about 5 of them. I said, come outside. And they wouldn't come out. And I thought that was strange. So I was offered about it, they wouldn't come. So I walked off. As I walked around the corner, they jumped out of a side door and shouted, oi, oi, and they pepper sprayed me with it was the lump of gel landed on me. And I was ruined. It was just, I've been CS gassed before by the police in Britain, but this gel that they have over there was really, really strong. Anyway, these 5 doormen have come out with bits of wood and started attacking me with bits of wood. So I'm trying to fight with this gas on me, and they're hitting me. The girl I was with had to jump on the backs and all this, and yeah, it was carnage, absolute carnage. When my head started to clear, I started to fight back, and they got me again in the face with the gas. But that was one of the. So I had to go to the airport. My legs were all battered, but yeah, that's why when I did the boxing never really held much fear for me, because, like you said, if you've had fights with gangs of people and you've been hit with weapons, boxing match to me seemed fairly safe in comparison.
Yeah, you've got big spongy gloves hitting you.
Yeah, you've got gloves on, and yeah. So it always seemed like a much safer option to boxing. Yeah,
you got a minute rest. You've got a towel coming if you get struggling. You've got your cornerman. There's another thing, a camaraderie with all the guys getting you up for the gym and training. So you're with them every day as well. So that's in your life. And then all of a sudden they go because they've got another boxer to train. So you're on your own type of thing. So it must be like, it's like when we were kids, we'd go to Carlton Camp. It was a place where you went, there'd be all lads on one side, all girls on the other side in the billets. And it would be, you go there for 2 weeks with the school. And we'd go the hills, Mount Eden. I mean, when you went home, you were devastated. You were like down. You had to go back home. And it was like, you're on your own in your bedroom. So that must be boxing, that buzz you have. Everyone around you, your friends do training and stuff. And that's taken away, obviously, because you're not your league, because time and tide doesn't wait for no one, does it?
Well, that's it. Well, I'm a bit of a solitary trainer anyway. I like training by myself. I love going running by myself, walking by myself, or even weight training. I'm happy to do it by myself without a spotter. I just like to be in that zone, and I don't know why. That's why I've never really enjoyed team sports. I tried rugby and football. I've always preferred strength training and boxing, because it's only yourself doing it, and I don't know why. I just didn't always been like that. A bit of a not a lone wolf, but I'm just quite solitary when it comes to training, and I don't like running with people or jogging with people. I always want to do it myself normally.
Well, I think what you can do, I train twice a day now, not heavy, just going up slowly. Get my weight back on. I'm about 20 stone again. I'm starting to put weight on. I'm getting there.
The same weight as me.
I'm just taking my time, because I know I'm going to get back. It's muscle memory. Just take my time. But I'm the same. I'll train at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Wake up and say I've missed like 8. Say I'm supposed to train at 5 o'clock. I don't have a set time. I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll start doing, like, say, biceps or something, and I'll do that, and then jump in the shower, ready, whatever, and have a protein, go back to bed. So when you're looking for people coming that don't turn up, you get pissed off. You think, the routine. So I'd rather train on my own. I've trained on my own for over 20 years. Most of the time, on my own, but I used to train on the chest on a Monday, and then I train on the bag on the Monday, because it was quite easy chest to train. You don't use much energy. Then when I did something like legs, I wouldn't do any bag for a couple of days. So I'd do the bag on Monday, and then I'd do the bag maybe on bicep day, tricep day, and bag maybe on shoulder. Not shoulder, sorry. I wouldn't do it leg day. So I'd probably do it 3 times a week, the bag. I'd do 6 twos. I do 3 threes. And then maybe put 10 1-minute rounds, just one left hook all the time, just put here and just on left hook. So I'd keep, and John Black used to hit me, Brian, you're hitting that bag like you're trying to knock a fucking wall down. You're only knocking a man down. So he started teaching me, like, don't hold your hands tight, hold them loose, nice and loose.
That's it, loose. You got to whip them. You got to whip them out.
You've got me shadow boxing everything. Yeah, so nice and loose, because my other mate, Craig Howard, used to train with us, me and Lee Duffy, and he said, look, how big Brian, watch how fast he is. These hands punching, because he's like, you've got nothing in your hands. When you try to bench press 500 pounds, you punch like that, no power, and it's snapped from the hips, and it's every. I say to people, if you can dance good, you can box. It's the same thing. Yeah. A lot of dancing, that's all it is, boxing. You've got to learn.
All your punches come from your feet. When I train people, because I do a lot of one-to-ones with people, I always teach them every punch. Your punch power comes from your feet, so you've got to think of the floor first. Then everything comes up through your legs, through your hips, and then finally out through your arm, shoulder, and then twist your hand at the end. But you have to have your hands loose and then whip it. Whip it. Don't be tense like you said.
Yeah.
Don't be all tense. You've got to be loose and just whip them out.
And here's another thing what people do. They try to punch all the way through. You don't. You punch and you stop just past the chin that much. All the power is in that little snap.
Yeah.
It's just like a little twist. You get these people going all the way through, but that's just arm strength when you do that, because it's not your body state, it's the arms. So you're punching with their arms, and you see these big lads, 18 stone, ripped to the bone, but there's no power whatsoever coming off them because they're not punched.
They do a lot of arm punches. If you don't get your legs into it and you don't get your hips twisting and pivoting your feet and all that, you won't get any power into it, really.
I always had a theory. People used to say, how come some people hit bigger than others? I think it's because of the legs. Mike Tyson had massive legs.
Yeah.
Prince Nazim, George Foreman.
Yeah.
All these, Muhammad Ali, all these had big legs. Smoking Joe Fraser, all had big, thick legs.
Yeah.
Big power from there. Tommy, what do you call him? Tommy Morrison.
Morrison, yeah.
He was actually fighting at 15-year-old, pretending to be 18, and he was going in with a false passport.
Tough man competitions.
And then he was 18. He was fighting blokes at 19, 20-year-old, at 15-year-old.
I think he was doing tough man competitions, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a really good lad. I liked him, I really liked
him. He passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he was sad. But obviously, he was a lovely man, but he could fight. He had a heart, didn't he? But another one sadly passed away. Yeah,
it's a shame. But that's it. That's exactly it. And you got to get your legs into it and all that. But I was just thinking as well about Norman's book, reading his book and the governor title and stuff like that. I was asked to fight for the governor title quite a few times over the years. You know, the one that Norman won, and Sven Hamer and Lenny and all that stuff. And I was asked to fight for it, and I considered it for a couple of times, but I never did it. Ricky English asked me, and I was very close to doing it a couple of times, but I never got around to it in the end. And
that type of things, Matt, sorry to stop you. Do you get much money for that type of fighting?
Not too sure. I'm not too sure. I was in a court.
He was only getting £300-400 a fight. I thought it was a
bit.
Who's that? I knew I called the Viking up here. I trained him a few times, and he was a nice lad, but he couldn't box. But he had the party, he had a brilliant chin.
Yeah,
won quite a few fights, but he was getting £300 a fight. I thought it was a bit power, for that.
I think you get whatever. I think it's on a ticket. A lot of them are ticket deals. So whatever tickets you sell, you get a percentage of the ticket deal. And it works like that. But I was in a corner for a governor fight a few years back, and it weren't a great fight. And I was in a corner for one, and I never got around to doing it. But
what's
I'm not sure the money.
Can you explain to people back home what the unlicensed fighting, the difference is from that to the professional boxing? What is it? Or tell us for the bare knuckle one first. That's the best one.
So bare knuckles is now legal. It's now legal. It used to be illegal, didn't it? Yeah. So it's underground, and if you got caught doing it, you get arrested. But they've now sanctioned it, so you can do it. It's like a boxing match. You've got doctors there, you've got judges, and it's like there's ex-pros now doing bare knuckles. So it's like a pro boxing match, but with no gloves on. But obviously, it don't last that long because you're going to get cuts, broken hands, broken bones. It's a lot more brutal, but apparently there's less brain damage because of the cushioning of the gloves. Allows you to take more punches over a longer fight. So apparently bare knuckles better for your brain damage, but it's not better for your cuts and your broken bones. Unlicensed boxing is what Lenny was doing and what Norman was doing. Sven Hamer was the governor, and Cliffy Fields. But Cliff Fields was a pro, a professional. He went unlicensed.
So unlicensed, what does it mean? So
it just means it's not sanctioned by the Boxing Board of Control. So the Boxing Board of Control is the governing body. But
is it like underground fighting, like a bit like the mafia do, the gangsters, and have him fight him? Is it that type of thing?
It all depends on who's running the show. I mean, there's so many shows going nowadays. A lot of them are really well run. So I mean, anything that's not sanctioned by the Boxing Board of Control or the ABA is going to be unlicensed, I would have thought. You've got charity fights now, white collar they call it. But I mean, it's all pretty much it's all above board nowadays. None of it's illegal. None of it's illegal. It's all, a lot of them have got doctors. It's all safely ran, I think. The shows I go to has got doctors there. And yeah.
I suppose it's a good thing if you've got like people arguing, instead of fighting in the street or shooting each other, stabbing each other, go and sort it out in the ring, sell tickets, give it to charity, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, you do get a lot of grudge fights. I've seen a few grudge fights happening in the boxing. It's better to, like you said, better to sort it out way than someone getting hurt outside and all of that. Yeah, totally agree.
You know yourself, you can't collect debts because every house has got these special little keyhole cameras on everywhere. People have got them in taxis, people have got them in insurance in the car. You can't fight them on the street. You put your hands up, you're up for a phrase straight away. Section 1, jail 3, 4, but it's not worth it. No, you just can't do it.
I'm glad I've retired from everything like that now, because like there's cameras everywhere. There's people with phones that will just film you now if you're doing something. So although I like to think I justified everything I did, but obviously I was naughty on a few occasions. But you can't get away with anything now, and debt collecting or street fighting.
Yeah,
it's
a bit like Jesse James and Billy the Kids were robbing people in stagecoaches with guns. It's totally you can't do it no more. It's just different technologies that good. The police don't have to do anything now. The police can just sit in their computers watching everyone with the 27 satellites they've got, where you're going, where you've been, what you're doing. You go down the motor in the dark. They've got infrared cameras that can see you in the dark. The times of doing drugs and being a criminal, it's out the window. And I think the best thing for kids now is, like you said, educate yourself, get in the gym, get a nice little job.
Well, my friend Carl Haniff, who we spoke about, he's got a charity called Keeping Kids Off the Street. He's got five gyms open in Milton Keynes, boxing gyms, which are all free. So the kids go in free of charge. He's opened another one just outside Milton Keynes in Olney, which is going to start in April. He's asked me to be like an ambassador for it. So I'm going to pop into the clubs. I'll pop into the Olney one and train the kids, and I'll try and get to the other ones when I can. So he's been doing that as a charity organisation, all free of charge. So the kids go in, they get a free boxing session and a free exercise. So he's doing really good with that. My mate Danny B in Northampton's doing the same. I'll be part of that as well. So there is people now trying to help out. I think Ben Span doing the same thing as well.
But as well, we're involved in that knife campaign with him as well.
That's it.
Yeah, a lot of old-time villains are getting on board now and helping people because they know that they don't want to see their grandkids doing what we did. They don't want to see them go to jail. And the best thing to do is get yourself education, train. But the old days, you can't go back. The old days is gone. You've just got
it's gone. I said to my kids, I went to the cinema with my youngest boy today. We went to watch the film we wanted to, Uncharted film, and I went with him. I had a good day with him and try and encourage them not to do the stuff that I did. Excuse me a sec. So they know what I told my older kids what I got up to when I was younger, and I just say don't do it because I was lucky. I was lucky that I only get a small amount of prison, and I was lucky nothing else happened to me. Like yourself, could have been killed, and anything could have happened. So try and encourage them to go the right way, work hard.
I do believe the last time we spoke, if it wasn't for going to prison, though, you wouldn't have learned the box.
If I had gone to prison, if I had gone to prison at the age of 18, I'd never. I knew Norman anyway, but the fact that I went into prison, saw Norman in there, I've known him since I was 13. But the first thing he said to me was, rather than you fighting police, doormen, and fighting all with the people you're fighting, put this strength and energy towards boxing. So like most people get, if they're going to start boxing, you get a few months of training, then you do a little sparring session. My first ever introduction to boxing, no pad work, no punch bag, was literally me and Norman wrapping a pair of socks around our knuckles and then fighting each other in the prison.
Was he shouting?
That was the very first thing I ever did. Boxing was put a pair of socks around my knuckles and fight Norman in the prison.
The screws ever come to the door and he is kicking up.
The screws could come in and they would tell us to stop, and then we'd do another little bit. We'd carry on, because there was the whole prison, the whole wing would come up when we were doing it. Me and Norman were fighting. Everyone was looking through the window at us because it was like watching a bare-knuckle fight, I suppose. But it was a good introduction to boxing, and Norman really, really did kickstart it all for me.
You're still best friends today with him, aren't you?
Oh yeah. He's always been a legend, Norman. I've known him since I was 13. I used to train in the gym 13, 14, 15, Norman was in the same gym. So I'd see Norman in there, Bertil Fox was in there, Chris Palmer, my mate, John and Dan Ellis, my mate Hussein Tatunchian I trained with.
Yeah, it's weird that because I trained with Bertil Fox at the Red Car. He came to the Red Car where Emma was born, and he came there for a couple of weeks and he stayed in the Olympia gym. He stayed in I think it was the Park Road Hotel at the top. He stayed in there and he used to come to the gym. He was huge. He had arms like coconuts.
Yeah.
He was his bench and he had me doing all when you cheat on the weights. Don't forget about all that thingy style. Do it like this. Just throw the weights up and get them down.
Yeah. He did cheat a lot with his reps. He wasn't strict, was he?
Well, there was another lad darting with him and he auditioned for the what was it called? The A team. He was going to before.
Yeah.
Rackers, you know that.
Yeah, Mr.
So he was there training. I trained with him for a week because because I was training strict. I used to train with him. And
Yeah.
I was only like about 20-year-old squatting over 4 plates at that age. No steroids or nothing, just raw.
Yeah.
So just keep it up, son. He said it took me 12 years to get where I am today. And he was Mr. Universe and Mr. America. But he was a nice man. He was 6'4", brilliant physique.
Who was that?
Marlon Darton, they called him from America.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Brilliant. There was another one coming. I can't remember. He was Mr. Olympia, Mr. Older class, over 50s. I think he won the Mr. He came and he was doing biceps and he tore his arm.
Not Albert Beckles.
Oh no, he was from America. I can't remember his name now.
He was American.
Yeah, I can't. The Albert Beckles is still trained, didn't he?
Yeah, he was 60 odd, wasn't he?
He's still training, but I can't remember his name. Anyway, he made this special tricep thing for training on tricep because he snapped his tricep training, and he was there for a few weeks and all. He was a good lad, but you ever seen some brilliant Tim Belknap? You remember Tim Belknap?
Oh, Tim Belknap, yeah.
He was a good bodybuilder. Brian Buchanan, he was another.
Brian Buchanan, yeah, with the smallest waist, the biggest arms,
26-inch waist he had,
and massive arms, yeah.
But not that shape now where they could do that vacuum. It's all gone now.
Can't do it.
Old bodybuilders in the 70s and 80s were better than the ones that had a better pleasing physique.
More aesthetically pleasing, the better shape. What's that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was about 13 stone. Arnold was about 16 and a half. He couldn't believe he was beat, but it was because he had a 16-inch neck, 16-inch calf, 16-inch bicep, every proportion, like you said. And he beat Arnold, so Arnold went back to the drawing board and realised you had to get a proportion.
That's it, yeah. I was going to say something else as well, mate. Just because Katie's got her baptism tomorrow. My Katie's getting baptised. So, she's trying to get me to go in the pool with her as well and get baptised.
Freezing.
Yeah.
When I went in the sea, coming up in March, I think it is. I went in, it was freezing, but when I come out, it was normal. I was like, brilliant. Yeah. And they're coming out, they dropped me in the sea. I was about 20 at the time. And I couldn't believe the weight and they tried to pick me back up. So they were out, and after that, everything was like weird, and you've washed your sins off, you cleanse yourself, you just feel a better person. Before all that, you like, you don't realise, but when you get that done, you just feel that everything's better, the sky's bluer, the grass she got hers done, you just feel a better person.
Because when I look at you now and I watch you compared to, you look like a different person to, the McIntyre documentary. You look like two different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the devil got hold of me then.
But I said
a couple of days ago, he was back in me though.
But yeah. Well, I was thinking, is it as you get older, you get more mellow, or you get more relaxed, or less competitive?
Well, it is. I've just when I've been going to school and helping kids, it feels better than making 20 grand a week. You go to work. I went to get my tyre fixed about a year ago. We went to a garage with Vanyok. He goes down, took the wheel, and the lad said, "Oh, your money's no good." I thought, must have taxed him or something years ago or something.
Yeah.
No, your money's no good again, mate. I thought, he's not going to save me. He went, "No, I don't know money off you." So I'm just telling you a story. He said, "You saved my son's life." What do you mean? He said, "Well, he stabbed someone at school."
And this is shining onto you.
So what happened? He stabbed someone at school, the kid, and then he got barred from school. So anyway, he watched my documentary where I'm telling him, don't put down the knife and save all this stuff. And he watched a couple of documentaries and he's changed his life around. He's went to university. He was the Scholar of the Year award. He won and passed his out, got a job and everything. He said, "If it wasn't for you watching that documentary, would be here today." So the title's for free. I think, "Oh, thanks very much."
That's what I like, mate. Everything about your podcast and what you're doing in your life is positive, and I see so many people spouting negative stuff, and I just think to myself, it's draining. It must be draining for them because, and it's not a good way to be. Positivity. Why not say nice things about people? Make someone feel better, rather than putting people down. Like some of these people on YouTube, putting people down, being derogatory. But there's nothing nice about that.
No, but no reason whatsoever. Just calling people just for clickbait. That's all they're doing.
No. You're being positive. You're helping people. You're making people feel happy, and they love the podcast. All these trolls. I mean, it's like I've always believed. Don't respect anyone's opinion if they don't respect you and you don't respect them. So I only want my peers and people I love and respect. I only care about their opinion and people that I like. I don't care about people's opinion that you know. It's like people you like and the people you care about and your peers, but people you don't know saying bad stuff about you, they don't know you. You know yourself, so just be a good person, and that's all you.
Lee Duffy said to me once, he said, when the good people are talking bad about you, then you've got a problem. But then the bad people are talking bad about you, forget about it. But I always say that people try to please everyone, even Jesus Christ, the greatest person ever lived, couldn't please everyone. They crucified him. So you can't please everyone. And the thing is, when you're thinking, he's thinking this about me, how can you think what he's thinking in his brain? But you guess it in your own brain, the concept of what he's thinking. And he's thinking that she's saying this about me. That's your own brain. The only person who can do your head in is yourself. Thinking and that's I just think people should just well done to Katie. I mean, Emma said to go and get baptized. She'll be freezing tomorrow, by the way. Want to take a nice for a blanket with her.
Doing it indoors. It's in a little pool indoors.
Oh, she's a coward then. She's not really.
I think she's doing it in the sea in summer, in a couple of months.
Yeah.
She's doing it in the sea.
Well, it warms up.
Yeah.
Oh, anything else to say, Matt, before we go, mate?
No, I think no. Thanks for having me on again, and I really appreciate it.
More stories, Matt.
Yeah,
people asking.
People asking, you got any more stories here? Now
I love you.
I'm getting them back.
I'll tell you a story about Charlie Bronson. Stories about what me fight. I've got some stories about me in fights, but when I was
fascinated in you, mate. We're fascinated in what you've done.
It's hard to think of which ones I can talk about. I've had a lot of the reason I was boxing was because of the street fighting I was doing. So I used to get into a lot of fights, like you said with you. I had a fight once with a load of blokes, about 8 blokes. So I came out of a nightclub, and 2 lads I knew were fighting these eight blokes. So I've got in and helped these 2 lads, and I'm fighting these 8 blokes by myself. I've turned around, and the 2 lads I'm helping are just watching. So I'm the bloke on my back. I was chucking him off. I was hitting the bloke in front, and it only they ran off in the end. These blokes had to run off, right? And the doorman come out and grabbed me from behind. My mate Cole, he'll tell you about it. He had to come and stop me in the end, and the blokes ran off. I turned around to the 2 lads who I was helping, and I went, "How come no one else jumped in?" And they said, "You were doing all right by yourself." But, I had loads of fights like that as I was growing up.
Yeah, but if you've been out before, you were lads, you think he's got me back. The next week you got to have a fight, 5 or 6 people come, you're right fighting them. Turned on, he's run off. And then somebody else you never think in a million years could fight, with 10 stone ring away, and you fight and you turn around, he's getting stuck in.
Yeah.
I mean, 6'4" lad, 22 stone ran off, and the little lad's 5'7".
Yeah.
So it's not the size, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the dog.
Exactly. I know people 10 stone. There's a bloke in Milton Keynes called Stevie. He's 10 stone or about 11 stone. And Norman said he's so game, he would never give up if he'd fight anyone. Norman said if he was 18 stone, he'd be the hardest man in Britain. And he's don't matter what size you are, it's your heart. It's your heart. A good big man will normally beat a good little man if he's got the heart.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Eddie Biltmore said that. He said, a good big, and his dad used to say it to me, I'll always beat a good little. And he said,
yeah.
We had a friend from Frankie Atherton, who was from, where was he from? Was it Widnes or somewhere? Something like that. Wigan, I think he was from. And he talked, all right, love, he talked like that. He was like a bit, but he wasn't gay or anything. It's just the way they talk, all right, love, and they talk like that. And people used to take him as a mum, but he professionally fought at Madison Square Garden. And he was a great fight, and I'd say he was about 55 on the door. He had his white hair, and he'd have a little bit of gold toe for his stuff, and he had all that smart, the old-fashioned, like marching in the army, it was like that. But a lot of people took him as if, he can't And I'd seen him knock 2 16, 17 stone lads who went right uppercut, left uppercut, and knocked them both out. The whole book. Wow, they all just sat there with the ambulance come. 20 minutes later, they had to put them in the ambulance, and these big lads. They were massive. And
Yeah.
Another lad who won't say his name, and he was 22 stone. Then I was there.
I was at the top. He went to the top of the stairs, this nightclub called Tipples in Redcar, and there's this big doorman on, and he started giving like Frankie a load of stick. Next thing, Frank, the punches that he did were tiny little short ones. You didn't even know they were when he was close to them, and he just knocked the lad straight down the stairs.
Short shots.
He taught me that one, but just boom, a little button to snap it. Use your weights, come from that leg there, and boom, and snap it quick.
He used to have such a swing in his step, even when he was like late 70s.
He was really fit.
Yeah.
People thinking, he's just an get out the way, and you go bang, and just knock him out.
Yeah.
You need him to and see his left foot coming forward. I thought, I'm going to knock him out here. And I'd seen him do 50, 60 and he'd knock him out. Never ever judge a book by its cover.
No, never. I'll tell you a story that involves Norman as well. When I was about 21, I went in a pub on a Sunday and I was having a Sunday lunch, and these 4 blokes decided to jump me from behind. So I'm having a Sunday dinner. They've jumped me from behind and they pulled me off the chair, and I fell into a little kid who was on the chair behind. So there's women and kids in the pub, right? I'm on the floor. I've got up with a bloke on my back, and I've stood up, chucked him off. There's a bloke in front, and I've got ready to fight him. And as I'm getting ready to start laying into him, a woman's got in the middle and screamed, there's kids here, yeah? So I thought, right, I'm not going to do anything in front of women and kids. So I walked out of the pub, left these 4 blokes in there, and I went home and I was fuming. I almost drove back to do something, but I didn't. The police turned up anyway. Anyway, the very next day, I went to my local shop, bumped into the main geezer who started the fight in the shop. And I was like, hello. And I gave him a couple of little slaps around the shop. And I went over to the phone box. I said to my mate, get me out of here, because I'm got this bloke's here and I'm going to end up tuning him. As I'm on the phone, he's walked up, put his milk down and looked at me like, come on. So I've gone over to him and just dealt with him and chucked him on the floor and whatever. So I got that one back. Then I tracked them all down. I went to America on holiday. This is in Norman's book. I was that annoyed with it because they'd done it in front of women and kids, and there was no reason for it. I flew back from America, and the first thought on my mind when I got back was, I've got to go and get them fellas back. And I tracked them down. I got them one by one, and they rung Norman up. Another time that Norman got a phone call, and they rung Norman, can you help us? This bloke's Matt Legg's after us. And Norman went, nah, if you've upset him, you must have started on him. And they said, yeah, we did. We started on him. The last one that was left, there's one that was left. He moved out of Milton Keynes. He moved back to where he came from, but it was their fault. I didn't start the fight. Yeah. But I was fuming because there's women and kids in the pub, so I left it because I'm not like that. I wouldn't do it if there's women and kids there, and left it and got them all back though.
Yeah, I had a few like that where I've gone for them. They'd say he'd come to my house again, I'm going to shoot him. As soon as I had that was a challenge for me. Straight round. No in the house, there'd be drug deal, all selling, take the car off them, take everything off them for going to do this, going to shoot me, going to do it and take everything off them. But that big mouth, you see, what they do, it's called the floor skill. They stood there in front of the girlfriends or friends and I'm going to fight them, I'm not scared of you, and they start shouting on the phone because you're not there. But the next day when you're face to face, they start crying. I put them on the floor, crying, don't hit me, please, it wasn't me, it was somebody else. Just absolute nonsense.
A few questions
yes, go on then.
Jammers ALAW said, I personally would love to see this again sometime in the near future. It's been a top quality one once again. So they're on you already and you haven't even gone off. And then, hold on 2 seconds.
You know what it is, because you tell the truth, mate. Now you only have people on here who tell the truth.
Does Matt know Alan Miller from Darlington? He's a friend of AJ's. Can you ask him?
Alan Miller? Doesn't ring a bell, no.
Yeah. Let me have a look through where the other question was. Andy Ali, our friend who's always on here, said, I've lost all 28 of my kickboxing fights. Matt, if he thinks that's a record.
Not bad. That's not bad. It's it's consistent. It's very consistent.
Let me have a look. Oh, there was loads of questions too. It's like, oh, this is a good one. Can't you get a freeway chat podcast one night with Norman, the governor, Matt Legg, and Brian? Yeah, because I can send links out to all different places, so you can have up to 6
Can I just say something there? When are we going to get a chance to talk?
Yeah, that's true. You have to get a mute button. You have to get a mute button for when
You like that one, Matt?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the governor. He's funny now, but he makes me laugh.
Matt, did you say you're going to sit with? Have you asked Dean if you're on our table? Make sure you're on our
yes,
table,
yes,
won't you?
100%.
Yeah, yeah. I spoke to Dean Lynch Ward, and he said I'm on your table. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And we've got the other fight to go to with them as well, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, yeah. And then you've got in April, 3 weeks later, Bedford, the show in Bedford with Pete Chandra. Yeah.
No, we can't wait.
Yeah.
Tell Katie as well. I'll be praying for tonight and tomorrow, and
thank you.
Together. And I pray that you get
it. Yeah, nice one.
Anything for the kids out there who are getting in trouble and that?
Yeah. Just stay away from knives, stay away from any trouble, and just work. When you leave school, get a job or go to university, college, study. I'm encouraging my kids to do the same now. Just keep away from it all. Keep away from it. There's no good outcome from anything. The drugs. I've been now off of it. I used to go out and have a drink and get roped into doing bits and bobs, drugs and stuff like that when I was drunk. I haven't done that for nearly 18 months now. No alcohol since New Year's Eve, which is 6 weeks. I feel so much better. Nice and clean. Just healthy living, clean living. My mind is so much sharper and fresher and happier. Just alcohol's a depressant, and it leads on to so many other things, especially with me. Alcohol's probably the worst thing for me, but so I can't. If I go out in Milton Keynes and have a drink, it'll end up me being out for 2 days probably. So I keep away from it now.
Also, when you have a drink as well, Matt, it sounds the same. If you have a drink, your temper goes quicker, doesn't it? You think I'm not letting that when you get stuck in. Well, when you're normal, he's only an idiot, just leave it, you walk away. But when you've had a drink, you think I'm not letting them get away with this. Then you get locked up,
and you're more vulnerable. You're more vulnerable.
People start fighting with people like you and people like me and Norman. They're never going to win. They're always going to lose. But what do they do? Then they phone the police on you. Yeah.
And you're vulnerable. Well, you're vulnerable when you've had a drink. I'm a fighter who likes to fight sober. I fight when I'm sober, not when I've had a drink. A lot of people only get brave when they've had a drink. Yeah, but I prefer to fight sober. That's when I do my fighting.
Yeah.
But so just to stay away from trouble and just do the right thing and work hard, earn your money, get into sports.
You're good with your fists. That's it.
With your fists, yeah.
Get in the gym, do it properly and get paid for it. You get paid for it and you'll do great. So, right.
So, Matt, you've got to come back on.
Yeah, you've got to come back. I've done that already, mate. So
you're our regular now.
Yeah. So
you've got a YouTube channel, people are asking.
Not really, no. A couple of people have asked me to start setting one up, but I have got a YouTube channel, but it's just got a few of my fights on there.
Yeah, some people are asking. So, because what we'll do is we'll put any links up, and if you want, I'll have a chat with you.
If you've got any fights you want us to put an hour,
All right, I'll do that. I'd appreciate that. I'd like that. Yeah.
That's great. So thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And we'll speak to you again soon. God bless you. Love you, Matt.
Lots of love. Love you too.
Cheers, mate.
We just have to leave. We just have to leave camera on because Doc 77's got his son and he wants to see Eli.
All right. But you'll get the job. Oh. I'm going to lay down there. The leg completely gone.
Right, you can tell he's been up to mischief. Look. There you go, Docs. Yeah, it's really good. Matt's always good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Doc 77, can you see Eli?
I don't think you get him.
He's got his puppy pad hanging out of his mouth. Hold on. I hate them type of dogs, ugly bastards. Big Bang Bosh. Well, we think you're ugly as well, Big Bang Bosh.
That's Boyle. That's Boyle.
Doc 77. It's still on live, Brian. Hello. Well done, Brian. And then behind the scenes. Oh, bless you. I'm just waiting to see if Doc 77 can see Eli. That was awful what someone said about you, wasn't it, Eli? That you're the ugliest dog he's ever seen. You're not. You're beautiful, aren't you? Yeah, Matt Legg is great. Yep. He is cute, isn't he? I can't believe somebody said that about you, poor little thing. Brian said, tell the lad who called Eli ugly that Eli will fight him. Cheers. Oh, Eli up to no good. Yeah, he's got puppy pad, I think. Oh, there you go. But it's been great with Marn again. So, oh, you can't say terrible things about you, Eli, can you? Evo, are you still on? Can you see Eli? Getting massive, isn't he, Andy Ali? He looks like butter wouldn't melt. He totally does. He's an absolute. He looks at you, you know, and he's got such lovely little way about him, and then you just know that he could turn into a shark any second now. You ain't a nippy, aren't you? I love the dog, Eli. I don't think the dog fancies him. He's lovely looking dog. Oh, thank you. That's made him feel better. After that man said he was awful, didn't he? Oh. He is, Suzanne. You'll have to let us know when you get yours. Chris Everton. Yeah, he's gorgeous. Yeah, I will, Chrissy. Look at the size of him now, though. This is why we need to get him sorted out, isn't it? Scraps. He's waiting for David and Cheese Triangle. Absolutely fantastic tonight. I'd love to see it again, everyone. Yeah, we're definitely going to get Matt back on. Everybody will always ask for Matt, so we'll have him on again. Definitely anytime. I know, definitely was. See, it was awful. God bless you and Brian, and wish you a blessed too, family. Oh, thank you, Piers Bunsen. How old's Eli? He's 12 weeks old. Marty, it's his first day he's allowed out today. And Anna said hi, and she likes short dog. Oh, bless us. Tell her I said hi and send my love, Lena E. Wilson. Don't say hello to people, Eli. Say hello. He is a wee beefy solid. Oh, he's getting so much heavier, Susan. If it was I can't believe it was only a couple of weeks ago I went to get him and I could carry him all the way home, and now look. Yeah. Have a look. Andy Ali, fine, the main man. Oh, bless you. So thank you all, everybody, and I'm going to go say bye-bye, Eli. Bye-bye.